Everyone, and welcome back to Sudden Wealth. I hope you guys are doing very well. If you do enjoy the content, please consider dropping that like and subscribe. Let's try to keep this one short. In terms of news, the market has not been, or in terms of economic release data, has not been very active because there's not much going around that matters. However, two important things: the Japanese trade deal has happened. I would say, first glance, looks very positive for the US. A good example of why it seems positive for the US is that the Japanese Prime Minister decided not to comment on the deal, on the details. So that should tell you quite a bit. I have to say, I mean, the opening of the agricultural market and the car market in Japan for the United States is quite. I mean, I was not expecting that. If you know anything about those two industries, they are always super protected by Japan. So I have to say I was very, very surprised that the US managed to get access to it, and also apparently that deal is kind of working as a blueprint for the European Union. That's the rumor. Apparently, US and Europe are very close. All of those things are good, and that just goes into what I've been saying all along, which is give it a bit of time. These are very complex situations. Give it even, we shouldn't even analyze it today. We should give a year time, 2 years time to really see the full-fledged impacts, because you can have things that sound very nice on paper, but then when you actually look, it ends up not working for one side or the other. Maybe economists will be right and inflation will skyrocket. I doubt it. I don't think so. But maybe yes. Maybe the US will more than half its trade deficit. Maybe. Maybe the truth will lie somewhere in the middle of that. I don't know. We have to wait and see. But the market liked it. The Dow Jones was closed very. I'm recording this a bit before the close, so I don't know exactly how it closed, but I saw NASDAQ above 21,000. I saw NASDAQ 100 above 23,000, if not mistaken. I've seen the Dow Jones very close to 45,000. And I've seen the Russell also doing quite well. Bonds were a little bit down. Gold was down quite a bit, below 3,400 again. Was that some sort of triple top or some sort of failed breakout? I don't know. Can be both scenarios, to be honest. So we have to wait a little bit and see. And Bitcoin and Ethereum also gave back some of the gains because let's be honest, guys, we've been on the tear. But it's actually quite funny because in my previous video, I highlighted that, hey guys, there's going to be pullbacks. Those pullbacks should last short amounts of time and should be a bit shallow in nature, so it shouldn't be down 25%. But we can still go down because we get extremely overbought. We start to track people that shouldn't be here because they didn't suffer. So basically, they have no, strength to deal with the pullbacks. And I mean, you see that some meme coins are obviously doing very well. So on my side, as you guys know, I always have Andy since it was 1.5 million market cap, Hoppy since it was I think 900k, Boppy since it was around 600k. That's my average cost now, 620 something. Don't quote me on that. I don't know the exact number. And also, I acquired recently, as you guys know, O'Malley. That turned out to be a complete dud. Fortunately, I mean, it was also my fault because I got in it at around 1 million. It went to 5 million. I have plenty of opportunity to sell. I didn't. So now it's, below 100k. So it's a complete nightmare. But that's part of the game. Sometimes you get given opportunities. You don't take them. You think there's potential to go higher. The whole thing goes down and you lose. On the other token, I did enter Crypto Barn, from the Simpsons. I did enter that one, as I've disclosed at the time, also at 500k, and now it's at 1.5 million. So as you can see, some will succeed, some will fail. That's part of the game. So far, most of them have succeeded. Yeah, I have to say, I could have gotten out of 7G. I didn't. So that one, for the moment, has been also has been bad for me in terms of returns. However, I mean, the bull market's not over. You never know how these things can catch on. But those are all, as I've said before, lottery tickets. That's the key. If they make it, like Andy or Opie or Barn, they pay all the others. One pays 1,000 failures, and that's the mindset that someone has to have when you're going into lottery tickets. They can go really well or really, really bad. It's, by the way, there's something funny I would like to discuss with you guys, which is already people are calling the top on Bitcoin again. I've told you this before. This will keep on happening. I've seen people on average saying this. If Bitcoin 2 goes to 135K, that's going to be very, very bullish. Okay? I've already seen it everywhere. Bitcoin 135, please, Bitcoin 135K, that would be so good, so good. Now I'm going to tell a little secret. There's going to be a time, not much in the long term, quite in the short term, where going to 135K will feel bearish. You heard me. $135,000 will be a bearish price. And why? Because we may retrace there from 160K. See what I mean? I remember when I was here, when 100K Bitcoin was a pipe dream, was such a magnificent potential price. If I tell you that Bitcoin is going to 100K, people will rip their hairs off, they will go complete crazy. What have I told you? Is there the potential for Bitcoin to go to around 112K and a half? Yes, there's a potential. Would you say there's a probability? I would say 50-50. If you ask me what's your gut feeling, I don't think we're gonna get there. Can we get there? Yes. Does it mean the end of the world? No. It's just a simple pullback. Ethereum has been on a rampage, pretty much doubled in price since Ren Nuna from Crypto Banter was telling you that it was a finished chain and nobody cared about it, and he was selling the remaining of his Ethereum. And then it doubled. Pretty much, I think after he made that video, the next day he started pumping. And then we went to like 2,800, pulled back to 2,100, now went up to 3,800, and now we are pulling back into 3,500, and everybody's losing their minds. And it's funny because my previous video, I told you exactly that's going to happen. I told you, you're going to see pullbacks. I told you the bull market is much harder than the bear market, because the bull market, you have these big moves upwards, and you get all this excitement and all this tingling in your body and all this warm, and you want to talk to your friends about it, and you want to start boom, 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 and all of it, and all of a sudden you have some corrections and all the dopamine of your body gets sucked out, and now you start thinking, oh my God, was this the top? Did I miss it? Should I have sold? Am I about to round trip again? No, I don't want to round trip. I mean, do you remember 2021? We round trips. It's terrible. You start thinking like this. And eventually you make bad decisions. Are the fundamentals changing? No, they just improved. But price is still not reflecting it. So it makes you feel bad. That's it. It's really that simple. Once the price goes up, now the narrative begins. By the way, one of my narratives, I saw someone today talking about it. Maybe they heard my video. I don't think so. I think maybe just thought alike. I saw this on television. It was Tommy Lee. I think it was Tommy Lee. Maybe it was a different guy. I don't know. I mean, there's so many days, so many people, I get it lost. I think he was making the argument that Bitcoin could go to 1 million eventually because of... No, it was Jack... what is it? God, I forgot the name. But in an interview, I don't know if it was CNBC, if it was on YouTube, don't quote me on that, but he was saying, Bitcoin needs to go to above 1 million because it has to match gold's market cap. and we can get there as soon as 2026. Oh, that's important. We need that notion to become the consensus. When it becomes the consensus, that means when almost all the invitees to CNBC think that. When you go on YouTube and you have videos explaining why Bitcoin a million is inevitable. It is. But not in the short term. Not in this cycle. I don't think so. What could make me wrong? How could we get to a million this cycle? I mean, if governments come around and say, we're going to acquire Bitcoin, I'm not even going to look at the dollar price of it. I'm just going to buy it. And I'm going to buy it in the open market, and I'm going to chase people around for every little Bitcoin that's out there. Yeah, sure. Then you can get there. And I'm gonna pass a law that everybody has to hold Bitcoin by decree, whatever. Sure. I mean, we can play that game. I mean, I also like it, by the way. Like, for example, when the people. So on one spectrum, you have Peter Schiff with the negative scenarios that has never even come close to happen. So he's here. Then you have someone, I think, like me, who has kind of a fair approach, and I've kept consistently my prediction from the point that Bitcoin was 20K for this cycle, which is 242 to 276,000. Never changed my opinion. And then you have people that predicting $1 million by this cycle. So these are the scenarios. So the same way that we listen to the Bitcoin's going to go to zero tomorrow, we should listen also to the other. Bitcoin's going to go to 1 million in 3 days. So we also need to listen to both cases. I still think Ethereum will perform better than people think. I think people are not paying attention, but Wall Street has already picked Ethereum in terms of where the tokenization is actually going to happen. Whether you like it, I don't like it, it's that's not my point. I'm not here to make a judgment. For example, I'm not a big fan on XRP's objectives, and I don't like its management dumping XRP tokens on the followers all the time. But that shouldn't prevent me from making money with XRP, for example. You see what I mean? Like, I don't have to love it. This is the problem. People fall in love with their investments. People fall in love with, oh my God, this beautiful token with this picture has brought me so much wealth to me and my family. I'm loyal to it. Now, don't get me wrong. The loyalty is crucial for the community to back the project. For the project to have the network effect, you have to have a cult. So when people call you, oh, you sound like a member of a cult, take it as a positive. Because that's exactly what you want. Why do you think Tesla go up so much? Why do you think some of these stocks go up so much? Do you think it's purely based on fundamentals? Okay, let's go back to basics. Very important. Why does an asset, let's say stocks or crypto, goes up? They go up because there's more dollars buying it than dollars selling it. That's it. There's no big conspiracy theory. There's not people, meeting underneath the mountain, conspiring to do. No, it's very simple. If more dollars, euros, yens, Swiss francs, whatever you want, if more of it is buying, then it's selling, price goes up. If the other way around, price goes down. The rest are stories. Oh, we're going to invest here and we're going to have all these earnings. In 5 years, we're going to be here, we're going to be there. We're going to be able to triple the dividend in 3 years. Those are all stories. Okay? Or we're going to have record profits over and over and over again and free cash flow generation like never seen before. That's a story. Now it's up to you to say, oh, but I find it a very likely story and I want to invest in it. Great. But bear in mind something. If not enough dollars think the same way you do, you may actually end up being right, but the stock will go down. Because it's very simple. There's a price. And what you want is people that buy and don't sell. Cults around stocks and crypto, guess what they do? They buy and don't sell. And they promote it. And they try to get more buyers. So when people call you a cult, or that your community is a cult, or that the project you're involved is a cult, that's a very good sign. When it's crickets, nobody knows what it is, nobody cares, nobody spends 2 seconds looking into it, they have zero opinions, zero feelings about it, that's a bad sign. But with that, guys, look, next week's gonna be a little bit more interesting in terms of news. We're gonna have GDP, we're gonna have the Fed, we're gonna have PCE, which is the Fed's inflation gauge. We're gonna have trade deficits. We're gonna have all that kind of stuff. But this week is quite boring. It is what it is. Corrections are in the game. Pullbacks are in the game. Think about, are the fundamentals in place getting better or worse? I have to, by the way, guys, let me know in the comment section, is global M2 still going up or not? Last time I saw yes, but if not, let me know. I always find it curious. Thank you very much, guys, for your support. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.